just as a reminder, the first night when we were discussing social media, we talked about the fact that social media is all about engagement. And then we've been trying to spend the subsequent nights getting a sense of what that means on social networks or on blogs, on microblogs. Tonight, we're going to expand the border, the boundaries a little bit of what we define as engagement. And I'm going to be going over things like local or locally aware, augmented reality, altered reality, virtual goods, and if there's time, I'm going to talk about business models too, but if not, we'll do that next week. And then we've got a speaker at 8 o'clock who'll be talking about social games and gamification, which is the hot new area now on the internet. So, without further ado, let's talk about the old world of traditional advertising. You know, you could have a sign, you could have somebody wearing a sign, you could have the yellow pages. How many use the yellow pages today as their first place to check for information on a restaurant or a movie? It's very good. Probably nobody has the courage to raise their hand. It's going the way of the dodo bird, right? Right. In just a blink of an eye. So people today, at least in the Bay Area, tend to go to Yelp. And they go to Yelp for restaurants and for entertainment, and they also go to Yelp for a wealth of other things, as we'll see. And the reason that they go to Yelp, aside from the fact that it's on the internet, is that it's got reviews by people other than the restaurant. And that is very powerful. And in a world of engagement and social media, we're more likely to trust, quote, our friends. People that don't have a vested interest in sending us a package message. So what I want to talk about is I want to drill into Yelp a little bit. All of us are familiar with it, or most of us are familiar with it. I want to show you how you might go about it analytically. So first of all, if you haven't put up your Yelp yet, or if you have, you ought to check out the competition, right? And in this case, I'm going to pretend I'm one of my favorite coffee places in Menlo Park, the Cafe Baroni, right? And I'm getting ready to put up my site. And so I go and I take a look at two other coffee houses. I chose Phil's, which is the hot coffee house in town, and I chose the Palo Alto Roasting Company. And I thought, well, you know, one did amazingly well and one didn't, and I'm sure that's a function of the product, but it may be a function of other things too. What I would suggest is the Palo Alto Coffee Roasting Company doesn't even know there is a Yelp, or doesn't even know that there can be a Yelp about their company without them participating. How does that happen? I go to Palo Alto Coffee Roasting Company, and I have a good or bad time. I write it up, I put it up, it's there. All of a sudden I, in this case, let's say an unhappy customer, am defining who you are. Not a good thing. Okay? Please.
So who puts it up? Not the business in this case.
The business is, no, I put it up. I being the customer that came in.
So this is you, the customer, had put up Palo Alto Coffee Roasting Company.
And then I gave it a review. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
and I didn't have a picture, and maybe they put it up, but I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Actually, no, I think that they actually did put it up because there's advertising, you know, there's information as to where to find it, and they give you Wi-Fi. They're not taking advantage of it to the extent that they should.
Anyone can
That's
put up
better,
anything.
yes. They can, and you know, I went to speak to a client in Texas last week, and they were on 7 different social media channels, and they didn't know that they were on any of them. They just assumed that since they didn't put themselves on, they wouldn't be there. Mistake. Okay, so we take a look at what our competitors are doing, and you begin to see what you should do. But I'm going to drill into the Cafe Baroni because they actually have a very good site. And the way you make the most of Yelp is the way you make the most of any of these tools. You spend some time and give it definition. So Cafe Baroni, and they gave a name and a category. They say coffee, tea, breakfast, brunch, sandwiches. Great mistake. They added dinner about a year or two ago, and it's not on the site. All right, and that's really a huge mistake. They probably haven't looked at it since they put it up. Okay, but they do have some really good things. They have their address, they have their telephone number, they have their website. If they were really going to be sophisticated, they might say, we're the coffee house next to the Menlo Park metro station. It just gives me a little bit more information, right? And one thing they do that I think is terrific, they have a link to the site and a link to the menu. I can't tell you how many restaurants, bars, coffee houses don't have that. And if you're checking out a place, you need to see the menu, right? So it's an important thing. Okay, then they give you their hours, that's great. And they might want to add some more information. First of all, you can bring dogs, as long as I think sit outside at the Cafe Baroni. And if I were a dog lover, that may really make a difference to me, right? And then they have great photos, which we'll take a look at. So I think I would give them about a B, maybe a little bit more than a B, all right? They're certainly better than the Palo Alto Roasting Company, but there are other things they can do. Okay.